Howdy Grubs, if it's your first time, I made a New Year's resolution to beat and review 100 games in 2025. I'm essentially done with the playing part now, and now I'm reviewing them. The problem is that there's only 60 days left in the year to review 100 games, so like my progress on these reviews, today's games are incremental. These are all games that are about satisfying the number go up gameplay. These can be idle or highly engaging. The main point is that the gameplay is bare minimum, low stakes, but with deep mechanics. I wasn't going to do a themed video. For the most part, these games are supposed to be done in the order that I beat them in, but that's not very fun, so let's do themed game lists when I can. Anyway, if your favorite kind of tree is a skill tree, then you're in for a treat, as most of these games feature a skill tree. Let's dig in. Dungeon Village 2, 8.5 hours. Not every game I beat is one that I had the best time with, thus is the nature of the sunk cost fallacy, the phenomenon where you're less likely to abandon something the more you invest resources into it. Dungeon Village 2 is from a semi-popular indie dev, Kairosoft. They make games like Game Dev Story. They're sort of management and idle games mixed together. Dungeon Village 2 was something I was particularly excited for because it seemed like a simplified version of a game that I've been looking for a similar game of, Final Fantasy My Life as King, a simulation game made for the Wii online shop where you played a new king and you recruited adventurers and sent them back out to do quests. It was based in the Crystal Chronicles universe. A good guess on my part because it is kind of just like that, except a little bit more complex. The management and town building mechanics are deep, there are class mechanics, dungeons, farming, and you can even play favorites and just boost one dude if you want. It seemed like a perfect game for what I was looking for, but in the end I found it incredibly dull and unengaging. I think maybe a town building sim should be a little more involved, but instead the game is essentially just waiting for notifications and clicking them. I've never felt more disconnected from a game. My opinion on this one is pretty unpopular though. I gave it half a star and everyone seems to give it more along 3 stars. It's a cute game, just not enough town management in a town management sim. My backlogged review sums it up pretty well. They figured out how to make notifications into a game. Digzium, 4.5 hours. This year, I very got into idle games that can actually be beaten. Even back in the Flash era, a lot of idle games were made to be played for ages. People caught on that this makes them a prime candidate for monetization since people expect slow gameplay they won't notice when they're being gated from progress. At least that was the idea. So when I found Digzium and games like it, I was pretty happy. Digzium's only gimmick isn't that it's an incremental game with an achievable ending. It also has a neat gameplay style and a sizable tree. If you were a dinosaur kid like I was growing up, this is your next must play. So you're an archaeologist working with a little guy who's opening a museum. You'll go into the field and collect artifacts by digging them up by clicking tiles. The artifacts you gather generate income by attracting passerby to the museum. As you collect multiple of the same artifact, they level up, which gets you more income. As you progress, you'll collect dream fragments, which are skill points essentially, used to unlock skills on the skill tree in the prestige system. Keep an eye on this skill tree. You're going to see this exact same skill tree a lot in the coming videos. Maybe it's part of an asset pack or everyone is watching the same YouTube dev, but a lot of these short incrementals use this same tree. I'm not complaining though, it's a good system. I love skill trees. Anyway, you'll continue the loop of dig, find all the shards, unlock upgrades, prestige, repeat. It's a pretty standard idle game aside from the dig mechanic, and that dig mechanic definitely sets it apart. It's good, but the best thing about it is also the worst thing about it. The dig mechanic quickly becomes tedious and the length of the game is way too short. You can beat it in one sitting, and despite being an idle game, it's very active. So I wouldn't call it an idle game, it's an incremental game. I definitely think it's worth playing if you want a quick, short experience to second screen with. Norp Epilogue, 46 hours. I'm apparently bad at this game because the average time to beat it is only 20 hours. Imagine being bad at an idle game. My life is a constant mockery that I'm forced to indefinitely bear witness to. I mark up my long playtime due to it being an extremely automatic game. I probably left it running when I went shopping or something. I definitely didn't play this game very, very poorly and I'm bad at games. That's not possible. Gameplay is simple. Basically, click big rock to make shards, click shards to move them to the stash, shard in stash buys upgrades, upgrades make Norps who make more shards, and Norps who deliver shards. When you get the shard pile tall enough, you go up a level, reach 10, build railgun, hit the end of 10, fire railgun, win. But it'll take you a dozen prestiges just to hit 10. I think the earliest you can do it is probably around 20 prestiges. Prestiges give you the skill points to unlock special skills that will make getting more prestiges and levels easier. It's a pretty standard idle game. It has some replay value if I recall correctly, but this was something I finished earlier in the year. If you want a traditional idle game that you can run in the background, it's a pretty good one. Node Buster, 6 hours. Like the rest of the list, it's very minimalist. Tags say it's an idle game, but it absolutely isn't. The main gameplay is that you're a crosshair sort of deal controlled by your mouse, and every so often you'll do a tick. Any shape beneath the crosshair when you tick will take damage. When you defeat a shape, you get the currency that matches that color or shape. Your timer is basically your health because when you deal damage, you also receive damage. Once you're defeated, you'll go to the skill tree, and here's that skill tree I was talking about again. It's the same design and progression is the same. You have your main currency, then sub-currencies that are a little harder to get. It uses this sort of tiered cash system which paces the skill tree a little bit better, makes collection and leveling a little more dynamic and interesting. My expectations for this game when I started it was a little more idle based. I was looking for idle games, but I'm really enjoying some of these that are more engaging incremental games. I gave it a 3.5 and I agree with that still. Pinata Go Boom, 6 hours. I beat this one very recently, but needed to include it early to talk about this weird skill tree thing. This is the third game in this list to use an eerily similar skill tree to the other games. 3 is a pattern, so if someone knows what the hell is going on here, please let me know, because these aren't all the same dev. Anyway, in Pinata Go Boom, you play a little fella in a suit and you whack pinatas. Like Node Buster, your attack goes off on a set interval, and because it's a bat, you have a specific radius and distance. You'll aim in the direction that you're facing, and your job is to clear the room of pinatas, collect candy, and repeat for 10 rooms. Once you do, or run out of time, you'll be taken to the tree and buy skills. Once you beat all 10 rooms, you'll be prestiged, which is just moving on to the next set of 10 stages. As you progress, you'll increase your bat size, swing speed, damage, but also get unique abilities like spawning marbles that hit other pinatas for damage. The skill tree and abilities in this one are pretty unique, but the gameplay never develops really beyond just hitting pinata. Like, it is 100% of what you do the whole time is you are just whacking pinatas. Since there isn't any aiming either, it feels like us playing the game is just a formality. But the story is somewhat interesting with some mild anti-corporate themes. It was a pretty mindless 6 hours, but I think I enjoyed this one the most out of the ones that I played. Aesthetically, it's the best out of what I played. Gameplay wise, I feel like I could have been replaced by a trained hamster. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tip your mole. I take likes, subs, and slowly progressing amounts of rocks that I can exchange for skills until I'm finally able to dig free from my earthen abode. Bye!